Never done one of these before, so figuring out all the bells and whistles. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming today for the first one of these workshops. We're going to do these every other week, I think, and this one's going to start pretty slow. It's just going to be some intros to how you can get metadata onto Tableland. But first, for those of you who don't know much about Tableland, this is kind of our modus operandi. Tableland enables builders to create dynamic Web3 experiences through relational metadata and SQL. And when we think about dynamic data or dynamic Web3 experiences, it's not just NFTs, but it could be anything that has to do with that can benefit from being sort of close to the token layer. So it could be a Twitter clone or social engagement for NFTs, so like comments on NFTs. It could be tooling for DAOs. It could be maybe you want to replace Discord with something more native. So it's really quite broad in what we think it can do, but NFTs are also like just a great way to play around with Tableland, and the metadata analogy there is really easy to grok, and we think you can create some really special experiences. So today, like I said, all that talk about dynamic Web3 experiences, today we're just going to do some basic adding metadata to Tableland, and we'll deploy a contract and even mint some of them. And I also just wanted to start to get folks familiarized with this concept of querying data, like querying NFT metadata using SQL. So by not having the data in IPFS, JSON files, it becomes structured, and you can just right away, you don't have to wait for it to be indexed or store it on a different server or something. You can just play with it, and I hope that'll kind of open up some eyes into some of the other things that you can do, like on top of NFTs. And then, yeah, next time we'll probably look more into mutating metadata. But like I said, this is going to be fairly hands-on and just kind of like, I wanted to do something sort of real, and not just kind of toy examples. So my idea was to actually take this P5.js script I wrote last year, and it just spits out these sort of like, calling them rugs. They're sort of these tiny little dots that make up these patterns. So the idea was kind of like, okay, so you've got a P5.js script, and you want to make an NFT out of it, and we'll use Tableland to store the metadata. So let's see. Let me jump over to code editor here. Hope you can see that. So yeah, this is the P5.js script. It's just, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like open frameworks or open processing, and you can just draw things on canvas, basically. So that's what this is doing over here. So I can refresh and get some new drawings. So there's like a generative component to it, but there's also, it's not like deterministic, so we'll kind of just make up some traits that go along with it. There's like a color scheme, and then there's a random seed that is used to generate a bunch of different properties for the sign, the waves and stuff like that, and the colors. So I got this started a little bit. I essentially ripped off my coworker Carson's beautiful Tableland CLI that we'll also use. And essentially I just made it so that the script draws. I'll try and go a little slow as I scroll through here. So we'll go up to the top here. So this is kind of setting up what you need in order to interact with Tableland. So if you dive into the Tableland SDK, you'll see like you need to figure out how to provide a provider and these kind of things. So you'll need to get yourself like a provider API key to Alchemy or Infura, and then you'll need to use a hopefully Rinkeby private key, and then I'm also pushing the images to IPFS with Pinata, so you would want to grab one of those API keys as well. So what we have going here now is this command line tool. Basically it's just letting us pull in all that stuff. So this is the script that's going to generate the metadata with the IPFS SIDs in it. And let's see here. Down here is where the drawing happens. So kind of all you really need to know is this draw method spits out a metadata object that now we want to put that on Tableland. We want to use Tableland as the metadata layer instead of pushing the entire file to IPFS. So to do that, let's see, actually I can just show you, well, it's already in the output here. So this little thing, this is what it generates. So it spits out these little JSON objects. The theme is there's like 4 themes for the color, and the seed is what I was describing earlier. So like this random seed that helps generate the waves and stuff. And those go from like 1 to 10, I think. So yeah, let's start getting Tableland involved here. So we can first install Tableland. And yeah, like I said, this is kind of tedious, so it's not fast and furious demo video. This is the hands-on stuff. But that's not to say it's not easy, because it is. So, okay, we got Tableland. So let's go over here. And I'm also watching comments if anyone has any going. Looks like there's 7 folks in here now. Nice. And 4 thumbs ups. Jane, guys, you made it. All right, so we're trying to get Tableland in here. So yeah, we're going to need to import connect, if I can spell it, and connection options. Tableland SDK. Okay. And let's see, metadata. Okay, we'll set up PFS. I've already got that set up. So I'm just looking at my. Okay, so we need to get some options, and these are connect options. And so to get the to get the wallet and everything going, I'm just gonna paste some stuff I have here because it's a little bit involved. Oh. Okay, so what's going on here? We're using the wallet from Ethers and the providers from Ethers to get our provider. Fairly basic. And then we're setting the signer. The signer is going to be passed in my case, since I have environment set up for Alchemy, it's going to pull that in. And yeah, now we just need to connect. So we'll create an instance of the client, and we can, what did I call it? No, it's connect. And the options. And now, wait. Response table. So this is where we're actually going to create the table to store the metadata. And we actually have I guess you forgot what we call it. It's a template basically for ERC721 metadata. But it's not that easy to query the attributes in kind of like the OpenSea style metadata. So I was actually using the older style metadata, which has properties as so like traits as objects. So we can use our JSON foo in SQL to more easily query that. So yeah, now we need to create the table, and yeah, this is a query. So I'm gonna create table, call it rugs, and we need an ID. So in this style of storing metadata for an NFT collection, the idea is that every row is metadata for a particular NFT. So we need the ID is going to be the token ID, and that'll also be the primary key. And then I'm going to skip name and description because it doesn't seem like people really use that anyway. So just going to use image. I'm just looking at my comments. Okay. Crickets so far. And back over here. What happened? Okay. And then let's create some properties. These will be JSON. And then we need our primary key. And then we can optionally set a description for the table. And we do that because what happens here is the table actually becomes an NFT. So this statement is interpreted by the SDK and by our gateway as actually minting an NFT, basically. So the description is used in the NFT description field because it itself has metadata as well. So we'll give it a description. Metadata for rugs. And what's going on? No errors. Okay, so that's going to create the table, and then you can see on the autocomplete here, what comes back from this is going to be the ID of the table. That's the token ID, the name. So the name is going to actually be the name that we just gave it, rugs, and then the token ID concatenated onto it, because there's no uniqueness guarantees for just a simple name. The uniqueness is the NFT contract, or that's storing the table. So we want to store that table is going to be the name. So the thing that comes back in the name is the thing you want to use in the queries. And let's see, yeah, we can sort of glance at my notes here. We want to just see what the heck is going on here. So we will process, stay out, right, and do that. Table. Can make it nicer. Okay. Okay, so that's going to create our table, and then this might be a little confusing with all the P5.js going on here, but I just wanted to make something that like be in the creator's shoes, so to speak. So all that we're doing here is creating essentially a destination to write the metadata. And we have already generated the traits in the right way. We've pinned the data to IPFS, so now we just have this nice JSON object that we want to map to this table that we just created. So the next thing to do is we can query, and again it's just SQL, and we know our table. Not that. Values. Bear with me, live coding. So let's see here. Okay, so the schema was edit text properties. So we want the metadata. Oh, this is table. No, sorry. This is in a loop, so we're just looping through. And basically the style that we're doing this now is the one where you basically mint, or you generate all the NFTs and the metadata and push it up somewhere. And then when people mint, they essentially get something that's already out there, and that obviously has some drawbacks, like people can snoop. what's going on, and if there's something really rare, they can try and hit a certain window. People use like the precedence hash style to kind of not reveal the order before, but maybe we can explore something like that later. But again, this is just super basic. So let's see what else. We need to get the image that's on that metadata object. And this is properties, but we need to stringify them. Okay, insert into table values. All right, and this will just print out the metadata. I think that's right. Problems. Okay, so let's try that. So I need to rebuild this thing. And I'll generate 3 of them. And it takes a bit up front here because it is going to mint the table, hopefully. Some other cool things you could do with Tableland when you're, like if it's something where you're driving rarity based on like, oh, syntax error. Tableland, unable to parse query. Insert into, oh. Yeah, I need that. Insert into. Oh. Those values. That should work. Try that again. So yeah, I was saying that, yeah, if you wanted to generate sort of like the provenance of how certain traits appeared, you could use Tableland to store tables that your minter actually used during the generative process. Oops. Pattern here. That's the validator telling me that I'm an idiot. Let's see. Let me just speed that up. Make sure it's not the create one. Yeah, wouldn't have been that because that part worked. So, all right, third time, it's gonna work. Oh yeah, Carson, I should have the comment. I'll move the comments where I can see them. Oh dear, where is that coming from? Table calls, unable to parse query. Okay, going back in. So that's working fine. Enter it into table values. Stringify. Certainty, that's what I had. Check for some comments here. But they are gone. Insert with single quotes. No, it should be. Backtick. Why don't we just Thanks for hanging with me. Do need a backtick. Insert into tables. Very strange. Oh, prettier is not sure I'm a huge fan of the. Oh, you know what? Wow, I am an idiot. I don't think I rebuilt it. Yeah, that should work. I didn't rebuild it. Yeah, we'll have some UIs. Or you can help build one, chain guys. Okay, so they're spitting out now. And this is our new table Rug 658. That was the winner. All right. So, I know we only have 3 of these things, but let's just pretend we have 10,000. And now we're going to use, Carson has this really nice CLI that lets you do this raw SQL. And this is so cool. I think it looks, I don't know, it feels very different than what you're used to with writing applications that use SQL, because we're just sending it out directly like this. Look up rugs 658. Cool. So, what did I do that for? So let's see them all. So these are what we just inserted. So each row again is for one NFT, and we can do things like that. We can just, select image from, and we could do select star from rugs, where properties, let's see if I remember this syntax. Properties, theme equals 3 or something. Not have any of those. Oh. Gotta have one of them. There we go. So that's pretty amazing. It's as if, you could imagine building like an NFT gallery for the collection just with Tableland. You don't need any other tool to like index the traits or anything, so that you can actually have buttons on screen to filter, and if you only wanted to see like the most rare one or this kind of thing. All that stuff is custom built for every NFT marketplace. And you could imagine building other things into it too. So maybe like tables for comments on the NFT or favorites and this kind of thing. So it's just, you just don't need a backend. And I think it's pretty rad. So yeah, and then this is why I wanted to do the traits this way. We'll have to figure out some way to store the normal ERC721 metadata style in a way that's queryable like this, because I think it's really powerful. But I think it'd be a matter of just making them not stored as the traits. Currently now they're stored as arrays in that template, for anyone that's played with it. Okay, so what's next? 1044, damn. Okay, so let's see if we can make the contract and mint one of those. Not specific to Tableland, but might be useful to somebody. So let's see if I can remember how to do this. MPX hard hat compile, and we want RINKB. All right, GX. I should mention that I have the contract and everything. Not showing me in presentation mode. But only got 15 minutes left. But yeah, basically it's just a, oh, there it is. ERC721 with hard hat, and we're going to, oh, I'm doing this totally wrong. Quite new at the hard hat thing, so bear with me once again. Let's deploy hard hat, run scripts. So it's just deploying a normal ERC721. So I've got the contract now, and then now we can go console npx hard hat ready to be. Okay, so now we're going to get our rugs contract and ethers. What is it? Get contract factory for rugs. I think that's right. Okay, then we'll get an instance of that, connect to it. Rugs attach. Okay. Now we're going to mint one. Safe mint. And I'm going to use, let's see, MetaMask keeping me safe, but not what I want right now. Okay, we're on Rinkby. Use that. And give it rock safe mint. And then now we want to do that. Cool. All right. So we got one minted. Now, the way that this works, it's a nice view of it in our docs. Demos, playbooks. So, yeah, the Tableland network tables. So the way that the gateway currently works, it provides you with a way to drill into one row on a table. So we use that in the token metadata, or the base URI rather. So let's see if I go to OpenSea, and there it is. New NFT, full circle. Couldn't resist the clap button. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I think that was. Let me go back to this thing. So yeah, obviously that was pretty basic, but I just wanted to show as a first step just what it looks like. Because I think it's even just that, even without mutable metadata, I think it's a nicer experience because you can query on the read side and leave it open for others to build things on top of it. So yeah, other things that we can do next time, hopefully pretty soon, we'll be able to do token gating with tables. So this is where you can create all kinds of different tools like DAO tooling or NFTs that sort of mash with other NFTs. So maybe you can't mint or you can't write to a table if you don't have some NFT from a different collection and things like that. Really, it's just kind of open-ended once you have that. And that's sort of these two primitives that we're really pumped about, just SQL tables. Everyone knows SQL tables. And then the idea of inheriting access control from EVM chains. So tables plus asset-based access control, or just address-based asset control. Super powerful. So yeah, check out we have a bunch of use cases on our docs, and these are just some I pulled from there. But yeah, does anyone have any questions or anything? Oh, I'm looking at the comments. So, the idea for the NFT is mutated, mutable, and stored on Tableland. Yeah, so you could mutate it. Actually, I could mutate it now because I'm the contract owner. But if you wanted to make it so that no one can mutate it, you could burn the contract owner. You could create things where everyone has their own table that maps to one NFT so that people can do whatever they want. Or you could do something like we're exploring right now, sort of trying to dial in on the exact right way to do it, but essentially limit it so that only the owner can update a particular row based on some rules. So maybe if they've reached a certain level in a game or something, now they can update, so maybe they can change their background at that point. Let's see, repo available. I'll push it up. I haven't pushed it up yet. Let's see. Well, WinGUI. I don't know. I mean, actually, it wouldn't be that hard to make a GUI for. I guess it depends on what you want it for. Obviously, we do have a GUI on our website that you can just type SQL into. But yeah, one specific to NFTs. Maybe we could do like a bounty for that, or a grant or something. There's so many different ways to mint. But we could try and match some of the popular ones, like with the Providence hash, or like a rolling reveal kind of thing, and just have all that stuff there. All right. Well, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you everyone for coming. This is again just like super basic, so we're gonna keep these rolling out every week or every other week. And just gonna get better from here. So thank you for joining.